My name is Jason Tiedick, and I'm going to show you how to give a meaningful, seamless webcast that gracefully keeps the right participants engaged, involved, and excited about what you have to say. Now, I'm going to show you in this session over 30 new ways to create, prepare, and deliver an amazing webcast. And here's the best part. I'm actually going to model everything I suggest you do with my very own webcast. There's a couple of key things I want to talk about, and the first one is your script. If you look at my agenda, every single one of these agenda items up here has three things in common. You'll want to write these three things down. And by the way, here's the hook for my next section. I'm going to show you how to write a script that you can deliver naturally, so you won't sound like you're reading it on your webcast. Take a look at this agenda. There's 10 things. First of all, everyone starts with an action verb. They're all less than 8 words, and there's no jargon. There's no words in this that you don't know what they mean. So those are the first 3 things you want to do. For every one of your webcast agendas, make sure they're all less than 8 words, because that's how many we can fit in our short-term memory. They all start with an action verb because people don't want things unless they're actionable. And learning doesn't really happen until a behavior change occurs. So if you look at this, these are the things you're going to change your behavior in webcasts. And lastly, you want to make sure there's no jargon so that when people read it, they actually know what you're talking about. Now remember, every time I move to a new red, I'm going to give you a new hook. And the new hook in this case, this is the why you would want to listen to this, sounds a little something like this. Next, I'm going to show you how to create a slideshow that also serves as your handout to keep people following along and enjoying the things that you have to say. I recommend that you have 3 sets of slides. And even if it is one you wing and it's a brainstorming, you can still do the framework here. You can still do this. Here's the first one. It's called the title slide. And the title slide should have the following things on it. Number 1, you're going to need the name of the webinar. And then if you'll notice right underneath how to give an effective webinar, I have written down ideas for. And whoever you're giving this to, that's who you do it for. In this case, my audience are VIP webinar producers. In other words, people who give very important webinars for business. Either money-making webinars or webinars that are going to help them move up on the ladder, help their company grow, anything that's going to really help them in business. The next slide I recommend is your agenda slide. And again, this is the one we've already talked about. I always recommend, if you want to make a note, that you have somewhere between 3 and 13 agenda items. Then what you want to do is create your task slides. This is each agenda item on the top and the 3 tasks. I recommend 3. You can have no more than 5, no less than 2, but really 3 is the heavy hitter here. Lastly, this is your final slide. It's pretty much the same thing as your first slide. Same picture, same everything, except now you got your contact info, a thank you, a website or someplace they can contact you. And in my case, I also use social media for people to contact me later. And what I'm going to show you next is how to get the right people to be excited about attending your webcast. And the first thing that I recommend you do to get to your attendees is to market to them. Here's how I would market to them. I'm going to show you the slide in a second, but let me give you something to write down. I would create a 1-pager. If you got a big webcast coming up, or just a one that you want people to show up at, create a 1-pager. It can be as small or big as you want, but 1 page of 2 things. Why they should attend it and what they're going to get if they show up. And when you do the what, these are called takeaways, make sure you write down the following thing next to the what. These should be either pain points that you'll solve for them or pleasure points they're going to get. I call them pain points and pleasure points. Let me show you what I mean.